In this video, we're going to do some very basic descriptive statistics in SPSS. I have a data set open here. This is a subset of the General Social Survey from 2008, and we are going to use some tools inside the Analyze Descriptive Statistics menu in order to start learning how to use SPSS and thinking more about descriptive statistics. Okay, so descriptive statistics are information that it's exactly what it sounds like. It describes the variable that you are looking at. In general, descriptive statistics are a first step in any analysis process and are an important part of any report that's being written or paper that's being written about that analysis, but it is rare to see descriptive statistics as the only form of analysis in social science research. But it is a great place to start. You do see it very common in journalistic reports, nonfiction essays, things like that, in which the idea is not so much to draw some kind of conclusion about perhaps the relationship between multiple variables or differences by certain characteristics, or to predict the future, or model why certain things are the way they are in our society. They're more to simply describe characteristics, and so that's why you're more likely to see it in popular press, in journalism, in various like a report that you're doing for some business or something like that, than you are in published social science research. But as I said, it's the starting point of all research. So I'm going to go to, first I'm going to click on variable view, and you see we have a lot of variables here. We have, these are ones I calculated at a different time. We have 125 variables that cover a wide range of things. We're going to stick with some fairly straightforward variables here, in which we can kind of understand from here. I'm going to make a couple of points real fast about variables in most social research. Most social research tends to classify sex as male, female, and missing, basically no answer or something like that. And in the United States, we tend to divide race up into white, Black or African American, Hispanic, Asian, and other. It's rare to see much more distinction than that, although you will in things like census data. This does not mean this is the best way to characterize this concept of race, and in fact I could spend a whole hour just talking to you about how this concept of race is not particularly useful for us in the first place, but just letting you know that as annoying or sometimes even insulting as the way things like sex and race are characterized in social science research, often it's what we have when it comes to the data that we're finding. And this is one reason why you might want to learn methods of collecting your own data, so that you can expand these concepts in your research and in your way of thinking. So there's my 2 cents there. We're going to pick a few of these variables and do some descriptive analysis of them. So I'm going to come to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and as you'll recall from a prior video, once we've picked something here, we'll have a dialog box where we can make further choices. Frequencies will tell us how many cases have a given value in each variable. Descriptives will give us our measures of central tendency and dispersion, things like that. Crosstabs will allow us to compare two usually categorical variables, variables that are not continuous numeric, but instead are counts of categories. And there's some other things here too. We are going to stick with frequencies and descriptives for right now. So, frequencies. What variables do I want frequencies from? You'll notice there's already one here, and that's because SPSS holds on to whatever you did in your last analysis here. I can hit reset to get rid of everything. It also resets all of these. So I'm going to get frequencies of marital status, sex, race, degree. I know that's highest degree completed. Children, and I'm not sure what else. Now you'll notice how this is the names of the variables, and I don't always know what that actually means here. There's a fairly easy way to toggle. I just right-clicked, or I could have command-clicked on a Mac, and I could display the variable labels instead. That's not always helpful because this box is so small. I can make my box a little bigger. I can spread it out like that, and that helps me to see a little bit more here. So that can be a little bit easier if it's useful for you. There we go. Statistics. I could go ahead and get my measures of central tendency and dispersion here rather than doing it using the descriptives menu under Analyze. Or I can wait and do that later. I think I'm going to wait and do that later, but just know that I can get all of these things here. Do I want any charts? This chooses charts for everything, not just whichever ones you want to pick, but I'm going to go with a whole bunch of bar charts just for the fun of it with frequencies. Continue. Style, there's not anything that's going to help you there because we don't have styling templates. All right, I'm going to say OK. In my output window here, I have a table of contents, so I can go straight to my frequency tables or jump down to my bar charts, back up to my frequency tables. I can delete from there. It's helpful when you have a lot of output. So here we go, nice tables. These are my frequencies of marital status. Frequencies, that's how often each characteristic occurs. How many missing? 5. This is the percent of all of the options, including missing. This is the percent only among those that are not missing. This is a cumulative percent. Same thing for sex. Race of respondent, you'll notice here in this subset of the General Social Survey, our only options are white, black, and other, which really aggravates me because it dilutes and diminishes the experience of individuals based on this concept of race by compressing large groups together here into this other category. But for what it's worth, there it is. Highest degree, number of children. Here's our bar charts, which help us visualize our characteristics. This bar chart could probably stand some manipulation to make it more attractive, and for the most part, we probably won't do a lot of our graphic development here in SPSS, but there it goes. Most of the respondents are married, with a small proportion of widowed, divorced, separated, and a larger group of never married. Sex, more female respondents than males. Most respondents are white. Highest degree is high school, followed by bachelor's degree, and then less than high school. Junior college, that means a less than 4-year program, and graduate level degree. Number of children, 0 and 2 are the most common, followed by 3 and 1 working its way down. So basic descriptive statistics, frequencies. Analyze descriptive statistics. Descriptives allows us to look at our means, medians, modes, our measures of dispersion, things like that. I'm going to pick some things here that are numeric and continuous. So age, children. Again, I'm going to do this, display variable labels. There's other things I could do, like if I knew the name of it, but not quite sure where it was in the data set, I can sort stuff not by the file order, but alphabetically instead. Doesn't matter, I'm just going through total family income, number of hours worked last week. So we're going to get our mean, our standard deviation. I'm going to go ahead and check everything. Why not? Even though we don't always know what it means, and display them in the order of the variable list. Continue, and OK. So if you do this a lot of times, you can get really used to the dialog boxes in SPSS and start to grow comfortable with them. So they're descriptive statistics. It's a nice little table. It's neat. It gives us our total counts, our range, statistic, minimum, maximum. So age of respondent 18 to 89, number of children 0 to 8, total family income. These are income categories rather than an actual income amount. So you would want to make sure you checked up on what that meant. And hours worked from 1 to 89, we have our mean, our standard error, our standard deviation, and so on. Now, sometimes maybe I want median and mode and quartiles and percentages and stuff like that. In order to get those, I'd have to come back to my frequencies, even though I don't want to do frequencies for, I don't want the actual frequency tables for things like age or stuff like that, because it's a really big, long table. Let's see here. I'm going to do a couple of those that we already did. I'm trying to remember now. Number of children, we did that. That's spouse worked last week. Number of hours worked last week. Total family income. There we go. We'll just do these. And you'll recall here, I could get mean, but I could also get the median, the mode. I could do quartiles, standard deviation, variance, minimum. There we go. Continue. Okay. And this just gives me a different set of information for each of these. So I not only have my mean number of children at 1.94, I have my median, which is the midpoint, my mode, which is the most common, which is 2, our standard deviation, variance, range, percentiles, all of that kind of stuff. So sometimes you have to use both frequencies and descriptives to get all of the information you want about your continuous variables. But you can see why I don't really want a frequency table of age. They're too long. This total family income is useful because it's categorized rather than a true continuous. So it's good for me to go ahead and have that table, although I might compress these categories down a little bit, recode it into a new variable in another video. So that is basic, very basic descriptive statistics in SPSS.